Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the globe. Welcome to PSQ Nation. I'm going to be your host for this webinar. My name is Ray, the president of the Philippine Society for Quality. So please feel free to type in your greetings in the chat box. By the way, we are live on 3 social media accounts of PSQ. We have our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, also in our LinkedIn page. And please share your views, your insights, and your questions as we move forward. We have prepared a very interesting topic. Digital transformation has been one of the buzzwords for the past couple of years, and I can see that it's an imperative for organizations to look at transformation and literally kickstart the journey on transforming the business. And now, let me introduce with you our speaker. Our speaker is the Chief Analytics Officer of Eclaro, a global business and technology consulting firm delivering top talent to clients across diverse industries. In this role, he is responsible for defining strategies to initiate and expand key digital transformation services, especially in the field of analytics. He has been involved in similar roles at Accenture, IBM, and Teradata. He is also faculty of the University of Asia and the Pacific's Master in Applied Business Analytics program. He is the founding board member of the Analytics Association of the Philippines, or AAP, in which I'm also part of. AAP was formed to take the lead in driving the growth and evolution of analytics and other analytics-enabled fields in the Philippines. He co-chairs AAP's Policy Research and Insights Council, working alongside with various government agencies on nationwide programs relating to, among others, education, labor market intelligence, and policy legislation and standards, with the goal of building the analytics ecosystem of the Philippines. Meet our speaker to talk about driving data-driven transformation program. We have Sherwin M. Pelayo.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ray, for the introduction and the warm welcome. Isang magandang hapon sa ating lahat. And of course, thank you to the Philippine Society for Quality, especially again to its president, Dr. Ray, for the invitation. It is an honor and privilege to be here. I think this collaboration between PSQ and the Analytics Association of the Philippines has been a long time in the making. And as this webinar is meant to kickstart 2022 for the Philippine Society for Quality, I hope that this kickstarts more future collaborations between PSQ and the AAP. So let's kick it off then. So as we talk about driving data-driven transformation programs, I'd like to discuss with you three things in this webinar. One, we need to do not just analytics, but advanced analytics to keep our competitive edge in this era of quality. Two, regardless of the nature and size of the organization, the foundational requirements to implement data-driven transformation programs are the same. And three, it will start with you, with the right mindset, right questions, and right data to really reap the benefits of data-driven transformation programs. So, what is data-driven transformation? I always like to start any discussion about analytics with a story that will, really ground our understanding to what analytics is and what it can do. So, I'd like for you to meet Aling Lala and her sari-sari store. Aling Lala has been this proud owner of her sari-sari store for several decades now. Business savvy that she is, she makes sure that her small store continues to support the daily needs of her family. And so, on a daily basis, she keeps a record of all transactions she makes at the store, restocking her inventory, who bought items, and whether they paid or asked to defer payment, the items that were sold, the total amount of items sold, etc. So all these she logs in her journal. At the end of the week, she tallies them all up in another journal. So from her tallies, she is able to determine which items are low in stock, which items are near expiring, which customers are repeat customers, which customers have pending payments, and of course, how much she has earned. All useful information. But as she looks at her current week's earnings, she notices that it's quite low from what she recalled she earned last week. She quickly browsed through her journal and saw that there are weeks that she earned more, but there are also weeks that she earned less. So that made her very curious. Since she has meticulously kept records over the decades, she looked further into her history to see what could have possibly caused the fluctuations in her earnings. So, from a deeper look, she saw some trends and patterns emerging. She noticed that there are items that sell more on certain months of the year, but the same items sell less on the other months. She also noticed that during the periods that items sell more, she often lacked inventory for those items. And during the periods that the same items sell less, those items expire and go to waste. So, for example, items to make, say, spaghetti seem to have to have higher demand in April and December because of events such as graduation. Of course, you have the holiday celebrations that happen during those months. Whereas, yung mga instant hot noodles also sell more during the rainy season, but they sell less during summer. So, equipped with this knowledge, Aling Lala made a decision. Since she wanted to maintain a consistent level of earnings, she made a list of items, including when demand is higher or lower for each of them. She revised her schedules of restocking inventory to match this. Soon, she was able to meet her target levels of earnings every week. The story doesn't end there, as Aling Lala continues to keep track of all transactions done at her sari-sari store to see if there are other actions that she can take to improve her earnings. So, the story of Aling Lala, which by the way is actually based in real life, shows the power of data and how data is transformed along its value chain. So, analytics enables this transformation, and it starts with the creation of data. So at this stage, data is created and generated from its source, mostly from us. So personal bio data, an employment application form, a bank loan application form, our medical records. When we buy something either from a physical store or an online store, when we call or text someone, when we take a photo, when we create videos, when we post something on Facebook or on Twitter, we create data. Machines and equipment can also create data. So yung mga biometric machines, CCTVs, barcode scanners, our phones, our computers. So this is the birth of data. All of these are collected by various people and organizations, stored into their applications, waiting to be extracted for the value that they will provide. The first transformation that data goes through is when it is extracted from these various sources and consolidated into a single repository. So in this process, data is cleaned, categorized, transformed, aggregated, and loaded into a single repository where similar data from the past was also stored. So at this stage, data is transformed into information. At this stage as well, organizations will be able to answer the question, what happened? The second transformation that data goes through is when information is transformed into insights. So at this stage, since our single data repository also contains historical informations, organizations can now see if there are trends or patterns that will emerge from all of these stored information. So from these trends and patterns, organizations will now be able to answer the questions, why did it happen, and what could likely happen next. The value of data will not be fully realized until an organization acts on the insights that emerge from the analysis that has been done so far. So the transformation of insights to imperatives or actionable insights is the last transformation that data goes through. Given the insights of what could likely happen next, analytics can develop various options that will help organizations answer the question, what should be done next? So from these options, organizations can decide on a course of action for their organization. So this is the data value chain. And from this data value chain, certain analytics disciplines emerge. So these are analytics terminologies that you may have already heard of. Okay, so normally associated with data are data governance, data management, data security, data ethics. So these are disciplines that call for deep knowledge about what data is being collected, how it is being collected, how it is used, who has access to it, among others. With new government regulations on data handling, organizations are being mandated to tighten the performance of these activities. Associated naman with information are terms such as data engineering, data warehousing, business intelligence, and since this stage answers the question, what happened? We wanted to describe what happened in the past. This is where descriptive analytics is also done. Okay. So with insights, as we answered the questions, why did it happen? What could likely happen next? This is where we encounter terminology such as algorithms, machine learning. This is where we do diagnostic analytics and predictive analytics. This is also where advanced analytics starts. So finally, when with imperatives, we answer the questions. We answer the question, what should be done next? This is where we encounter terminologies such as recommendation engines, optimization, simulation. This is also where we do prescriptive analytics. So this is again the data lifecycle that shows the foundations of data-driven transformation programs. And analytics enables these data-driven transformations. So, quick lang, no? So, having us grounded on what analytics is and what it can do, let's now discuss the things that we need to implement data-driven transformation programs. In 2007, Thomas Davenport and Jeannie Harris introduced these 5 stages of analytics maturity in their book Competing on Analytics, The New Science of Winning. In 2010, Tom and Jean were joined by Robert Morrison in introducing the Delta model in their book Analytics at Work, Smarter Decisions, Better Results. Now, both frameworks were updated by Tom and Jean in their 2017 revision naman of Competing on Analytics. 2 new components were added to the Delta model, creating the Delta Plus model. So, the 5 stages of analytics maturity and the Delta Plus model have become the industry standard frameworks for assessing organizational analytics maturity. The Delta Plus model is composed of 7 elements that must evolve and mature for organizations to succeed in their analytics initiatives. So these 7 elements are data, enterprise, leadership, targets, analytics professionals, technology, and analytical techniques. Okay, so let's look at each of these elements. In the next slides, you'll see the maturity requirements of each element from level 1 to level 5. As we go through each of them, I'd like for everyone just do a self-assessment of where you think your organization is for each of these elements. Keep your scores handy. You may jot it down in a piece of paper, open a calculator, di ba? As I will ask you at the end to average your scores across all the 7 elements. So at the end of all of these, you'll be coming up with the average maturity for each of these elements. So you'll come up with the maturity level of your organization. Now, after this webinar, take this with you when we will be sharing the presentation material after this. So take this with you and confer with your colleagues and do a more thorough assessment. Okay? So let's go. So D's for data. It is no secret that many organizations face data quality issues. For meaningful analytics to happen, organizations must ensure that high quality data is organized and accessible by the right people. So make an assessment about data in your organization. By the way, when you make an assessment, remember that this is a progression. You need to build on top of each level. You cannot really skip level. So for example here, if you're saying I'm at level 3 key data domains, etc., but your data is not standardized and not structured, meaning you missed level 2, then you can't really be level 3, 4, 5 until you do level 2. Okay? So level 1, uh, do a self-assessment, fairly rough assessment as far as data in your organization is concerned. Level 1, is it inconsistent, poor quality, unstandardized? Is it difficult to do substantial analysis? Is there really no group with strong data orientation? At level 2, standardized and structured data, mostly in functional or process silos. Senior executives do not discuss data management. At level 3, key data domains identified, and you start bringing them into single repositories. So central data repositories are created. At level 4, there's integrated, accurate, common data in central repositories, but data is still handled mainly by IT. It's still mainly an IT matter, and you have little unique data. At level 5, the organization relentlessly search for new data and metrics, leveraging structured and unstructured data, and data is viewed as a strategic asset. Okay, so you have your score for data. Let's move on to E. E is for enterprise. So analytical organizations advocate a single and consistent perspective for analytics across the enterprise. This is accomplished by setting an analytic strategy and building a roadmap to implement that strategy. So make an assessment about your organization as an analytical enterprise. Level 1, no enterprise perspective on data or analytics. The systems are poorly integrated. At level 2, there are pockets of data, technology, and expertise, but they're delivered, they only deliver local value. At level 3, process or business units focus for, there's process or business unit focus for analytics, infrastructure for analytics beginning to coalesce, okay, starting to get together. Level 4, key data technology and analytics professionals are managed from an enterprise perspective. And at level 5, key analytical resources are focused on doing enterprise priorities and differentiation. Okay, you have your score for enterprise. Let's go to L. L is for leadership. So, analytical organizations have leaders who fully embrace analytics and lead company culture toward data driven decision making. Beyond the C level, all levels of leadership within the enterprise should support analytics. Okay. Don't be too hard on your leaders about this, but let's score. Make an assessment about leaders in your organization. Level 1, there's little awareness of or interest in analytics. Level 2, local leaders emerge but have little connection. Level 3, senior leaders recognize importance of analytics and developing analytical capabilities. Level 4, senior leaders develop analytical plans and build analytical capabilities. At level 5, strong leaders behave analytically and they show passion for analytical competition. Okay? You're, you have a score for leadership. Let's go to T. So T is for targets. Analytics efforts must be aligned with specific strategic targets that are also aligned with the objectives of the organization. So at the highest maturity level, these targets become embedded in this strategic planning process and are considered business initiatives and not just IT initiatives. Okay, so make an assessment about targets in your organization. Level 1, there's no targeting of opportunities at all. At level 2, there are targets but they are disconnected, and typically the targets are not of strategic importance. At level 3, analytical efforts coalesce behind a small set of important targets. So we're doing analytics but only on a small set of strategic targets of the organization. At level 4, analytics is centered on a few key business domains with explicit and ambitious outcomes. At level 5, analytics is integral to the company's distinctive capability and strategy. Okay? Let's move on to A, analytics professionals. So, organizations require analytical talent that covers a range of skills and roles, as we have learned in previously. Okay, so once the right people are in place, keeping them motivated with creative and challenging projects is crucial. So, let's make an assessment about analytics professionals in your organization. Level 1, few skills that are attached to specific functions. Level 2, there are unconnected pockets of analytics professionals, but the skills are not actually managed. Okay. At level 3, analytics professionals are recognized as key talent and they are focused on important business areas. At level 4, the organization has highly capable analytics professionals who are explicitly recruited, developed, deployed, and engaged. At level 5, there are world-class professional analytics professionals in the organization. But aside from that, the organization cultivates analytical amateurs across the enterprise. So that's analytics professionals. Let's move on to T. This is the plus side. Okay, T is for technology. As the technology for analytics rapidly evolves, an organization's ability to deploy and manage the underlying infrastructure, tools, and technologies become increasingly important. So make an assessment about technology in your organization. At level 1, there is desktop technology, standard office packages, spreadsheets most probably, but the systems are poorly integrated. At level 2, there are again pockets, individual analytical initiatives, statistical packages are being used, there's descriptive analytics being done, databases are being queried, there's tabulations. At level 3, there's an enterprise analytical plan together with the tools and the platforms. Predictive analytics is being done. At level 4, there's enterprise analytical plans and processes. The organization is also using cloud-based big data. Level 5, there's sophisticated enterprise-wide big data and analytics infrastructure. The organization is really moving to advanced analytics, moving to cognitive technologies and prescriptive analytics. Okay. Last, for us to assess, A, analytical techniques. So, with rapidly evolving technology comes a higher level of sophistication from the various analytical techniques that organizations may use in their decision-making process. So, this could range from simple descriptive statistics to machine learning. So, let's make an assessment about analytical techniques in your organization. Level 1, mostly ad hoc, simple math, extrapolation, trending. Okay. Level 2, this is where your organization apply basic statistics. There's segmentation, there's grouping, there's database querying still, tabulation of key metrics are leveraged to gain insights. At level 3, your organization does simple predictive analytics. There's classification, clustering, you make forecasts in the metrics that you do. Level 4, there's advanced predictive methods deployed to discover insights. There's advanced optimization. You do sentiment analytics. You analyze text and images. At level 5, these are truly advanced analytical techniques, neural nets, deep learning, genetic algorithms, advanced machine learning. Okay? So, you have now your score for analytical techniques. And actually, you should now have scores for each of the 7 components. Okay, so now do an average out of all of the 7 elements. Do an average of all of those 7 scores. Round it down to the nearest whole number. So you may get 3.3, round it down to 3. You may get 4.8, round it down to 4. So you can only get 5 if you have 5 across all 7 elements. Okay, got it? So you have an average number. So let's look at how analytically mature your organization is. And don't worry if you're not level 4 or level 5. If you're level 4 and level 5, you're not supposed to be here in this webinar anyway. Okay, so it's okay, and that's also the purpose of this webinar, to look into how we can mature all of these elements. Okay, so organizations mature their analytical capabilities as they develop in the 7 areas of Delta Plus, as introduced in Competing on Analytics and developed in Analytics at Work. This maturity model helps organizations measure their growth across these areas. So, at level 1, the organization is analytically impaired. Doesn't sound good, but it is what it is. The organization lacks one or several of the prerequisites for serious analytical work, such as data, analytical skills, and actually they even lack senior management interest. At level 2, the organization has localized analytics. So there are pockets of analytical activity within the organization. Usually we'll start with IT. But they are not really coordinated or focused on strategic targets. Level 3, the organization has strong analytical aspirations. The organization envisions a more analytical future, has established analytical capabilities, and has a few significant initiatives underway, but progress is slow, often because some critical factors have been difficult to implement. At level 4, the organization becomes an analytical organization. So the organization has the needed human and technological resources, applies analytics regularly, they realize benefits across the business. But its strategic focus is not grounded yet in analytics, and it hasn't turned analytics to competitive advantage, meaning analytics is done for the benefit of its operations internally. Okay. At level 5, the organization is an analytical competitor. So the organization routinely uses analytics as a distinctive business capability. It takes an enterprise-wide approach, has committed and involved leadership, and has achieved large scale results. Okay, so how does your organization fare? So do note where your strengths in your organization and where you also see areas for improvement. Again, we did a very quick self-assessment after this webinar. Just take this back. Talk to your peers, talk to your leaders, talk to the heads of your departments. Go through each of these elements. Go through the maturity levels of each of these elements, and really see where you are, and plan how you can actually move from one level to the next. So, to summarize, to reach analytical maturity, organizations need to keep looking for new data and see data as a strategic asset. Have analytical resources managed at the enterprise level. Have passionate leaders who will lead the entire organization to analytical competitiveness. Make analytics as part of the organization strategy. Nurture analytics professionals in the organization. Consider sophisticated tools for advanced analytics. And lastly, consider various analytical techniques. Piece of cake, right? Okay, so I bet you're thinking, he is not serious, is he? So my organization is just a small one. And much as we like to be data driven, we really do not have the resources to hire more people and invest in advanced analytics tool. Do we really need to do all of these things? Well, yes, but the key is to assess what your organization needs based on your own interest to be data driven. So you need to make all these components work for you and your organization and not the other way around. So let's go through some actions that you can hopefully immediately do so that you can start driving data driven transformation programs. So let's start with the leadership and enterprise components. Your organization's roadmap to analytical competitiveness will have to start from your leaders. If you are the leader of your organization, then it starts with you. If you get behind analytical initiatives, then they will very much likely bear fruit. You define the culture of your organization and you really can mobilize people, especially money and time to help push for more data driven decision making. You are the deciding factor and you are starting point. So start learning analytics. In 2020, DOST shared in partnership with the Development Academy of the Philippines, the AAP, and Course Bank, have launched Project Sparta to train 30,000 Filipinos in analytics. So Project Sparta is putting in place the necessary online education, research and development mechanisms, and infrastructure to not only enable the industry of analytics but also to advance smart governance practices. It is free, so this learning is free 100% online. You just need to apply for a DOST scholarship, which is really a simple process. So visit sparta.dap.edu.ph to know more and enroll. Do check out also this great reference materials. This has helped me personally successfully implement end-to-end data-driven transformation programs in many organizations across various sectors. I consider this my Bible in all things related to business analytics. Hopefully, you can make them yours as well. With targets, you just need to ask the right questions. So, analytics will help you keep track of information such as sales, customer retention, and gross revenue. However, these are just vanity metrics. They actually make you look good, actually pampagwapo, but they do not help you understand your own performance in a way that informs future strategies. So ask insightful questions instead, like which customer segment buys most of my products? Will more training increase employee retention? Do I really need to do more quality checks? Those are the better questions that go beyond how much did I make, who of our customers, who did we lose as our customers, how much is my gross revenue. Okay, so really ask insightful questions instead. So we are all familiar with KPIs, key process and indicators. When you're members of PSQ, I think you live and breathe numbers and metrics. And there are two types of KPIs: lead measures and lag measures. So actually, it will take more than an hour to have a thorough discussion on this topic. The gist, though, is that we need to move beyond lag measures and also consider measuring lead indicators. Lead indicators lead the path to innovation. As shown in this stairway chart, lead measures have steeper slopes, so they bring bigger changes in process performance. Lag indicators are, of course, necessary for descriptive analytics, but as you said, we need to move beyond descriptive and do advanced analytics. So lead measures are really what we do diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics for. So quick discussion of lead and lag. So think of a plant. Some of its lag measures include plant height and number of green healthy leaves. They tell you how healthy or not your plant is. They describe your plant, okay? But they just tell you what has already happened. They are important, yes, because we do need to know what happened. But we also need to know what potentially could happen and what we can do, especially if our lag measures are showing that our plant is not healthy. So enter lead measures. Some of a plant's lead measures include amount of water per day, amount of sunlight, soil moisture, amount of fertilizer. So we know that these are needed to take care of our plants. What we don't know is what's the right amount, the right frequency, and the right combination of all of these so that there will be a higher chance of our plant staying alive. So that is what advanced analytic tries to answer. It gets all of the data, all of the information that tells which combinations worked or didn't. Then it churns out a formula that will tell you what potentially could happen if you try out other combinations. This is what you'll need to bring data-driven revolutionary change to your organization. So this is a huge topic for this webinar. So we probably should have another one just focus on lead and lag measures. So a virtual wink there to Doc Ray. Okay. With data, you just need to put them all in order. Most likely, you already have more than enough data to start an analytics initiative. You can source data from the following places. You have your sales receipts, membership forms, purchase orders, marketing reports, even social media. They might be all over the place, but you do have them already. So just start putting them in order. A good spreadsheet software will do the job. Okay. So let's now talk about analytics professionals. So remember the data lifecycle. So each stage of the data lifecycle is performed by a specific analytics job role. Data stewards for data, data engineers for information, data scientists for insights, functional analysts for imperatives, and to manage analytics projects, the analytics manager. So each role performs specific functions and have specific required skills and competencies. Okay, let's just briefly introduce each one of them. So the data steward develops, enforces, and maintains an organization's data governance process to ensure the availability and ethical use of high quality data. Their expertise is in business and industry domains. They are the data gatekeepers of the organization. You won't be able to get data without going through them. As they also ensure data quality, they will be the most knowledgeable in determining how to deal with and fix missing or unclean data. The data engineer designs, constructs, tests, and maintains data infrastructures which load data from your various sources into centralized data repositories. Their expertise is in information technology, information science, computer science. So they ensure that data from the centralized data repositories are always in sync with the various data sources. So that's their main responsibility. The data scientist leverages statistical techniques and creates analytical models because they're the ones who derive new insights from quantitative and qualitative data. Their expertise is in math and statistics. Okay, so data scientists have keen eyes to find trends and patterns from current and historical pieces of information. The functional analysts, they are the ones who utilize data and leverage on derived insights to help organizations make better decisions on a specific functional domain. Their expertise is in business and industry domain. They're actually the ones who will take all of the insights generated by the data scientists and convert it to what the business will understand and use. They will then make the final prescriptions to the leadership team, enabling the leaders of the organizations to make better decisions. Now, the analytics managers develops and guides data-driven projects. Of course, their expertise is in project management. So they bring the analytics team together. They ensure the successful delivery of analytics projects. So these are, the key job families that do analytics. So do you actually need all of them? Okay. So as you start your data-driven transformation journeys, you just need to get the right people at the right time. So ideally, an end-to-end analytics project should be performed by all of the roles. So you should have a data steward, a data engineer, data scientist, a functional analyst, and an analytics manager. To get you started, however, you actually just need two people. You can do with having your lead or a delegate performing the role of analytics manager, data steward, and functional analyst. You need a data scientist who can also perform the role of a data engineer. So as you start, out of the five roles, you really just need two at the beginning. So at the early stages of your analytics journey, consider partnering with a budding freelancing data scientist. Project Sparta has actually graduated some learners already, and they do have a Project Sparta freelancing group. They're very much eager to practice what they have learned, and they are more than willing to help you get started with your advanced analytics work. So when you start growing your data and or when your requirements become more complex, that's when you may want to consider bringing in specialists for the different roles. With technology and analytical techniques, just use the right tools and methods for your data analysis. You need more than math, statistical summaries of your analysis. You would also need to understand what's causing the patterns in your data. Okay, a way to uncover much of this information is by using real-time analytics via an executive dashboard. So get your data scientist to explain to you what tools and methods can be used for your initiatives. And at the early stages, again, a good spreadsheet and reporting software will do. Okay, so let's revisit again and let's make it more realistic. To make analytics work for you, you need consolidated and integrated data of the highest quality and accessible to the right people at the right time, an enterprise-wide culture that is open to innovation and which manages analytics resources in a coordinated fashion, a set of leaders who are committed to use data in decisions and actions, a set of targets that are aligned from the top of the organization down to all the departments and units, the right analytics professionals at the right roles, properly engaged and motivated, the appropriate technology that will support analytics across the organization, the applicable analytical techniques to generate rich insights from data. So again, the key is to assess what your organization needs based on your own interest to be data driven. So make these components work for you and your organization and not the other way around. Moving towards the end of my presentation, please allow me to promote several projects from my organizational affiliations that if you do like to take the lessons from this webinar several steps further, will help you learn more, do more, and be more. So continuous learning is needed as we do our data-driven transformation journeys. To learn more for yourself, consider enrolling in the Business Analytics Masterclass of the University of Asia and the Pacific in coordination with the Southeast Asia Business Studies or CABS. So conducted on Saturdays from February 19 to May 28, 2022. The masterclass is intended to provide managers, entrepreneurs, and experienced professionals insights on how to harness the power of data to drive business outcomes and lead organizational transformation. So what we have actually discussed here is a glimpse of what you will learn in more detail in this masterclass. So please email cabs at uap.asia or visit their Facebook page to know more. To do more for your organization, Eclaro can help provide you with top talent to augment your team of analytics professionals and boost your analytics journey. So with Eclaro Analytics, we start with what matters most to you, which is your vision for your business and for your key stakeholders. All else, including data, technology, and analytics, would have to be aligned with your vision, as discussed earlier. It is because we treat analytics as a business function rather than an IT function. So we allow data to fuel your business, yes, but it is still your vision that defines who you are as an organization. With our people, we can reach that vision together. So please visit eclaro.com for more information. We'd be happy to hear from you and go through your data-driven transformation journey together. Lastly, let's all be more for the Philippines and be part of this revolution to make our country more data driven and globally competitive in the field of analytics and artificial intelligence. At the AAP, our vision is to support this healthy and vibrant ecosystem composed of the government, private sector, academia, and professionals utilizing analytics for the good of society. And actually, I'd like to personally invite everyone to the launch of a landmark labor market intelligence study on analytics and AI on February 4 at 2 p.m. This labor market intelligence report provides a holistic overview of the supply, demand, and unfortunately mismatch of skills in the analytics sector in the Philippines, with the aim of informing skill strengths and supporting growth of the labor market amidst the fourth industrial revolution. So we will be posting more details about this to our website at aap.ph. And of course, Doc Ray would know about that, him being a new member of the AAP. So now a final word. As an advocate of using data for social good, I will be remiss if I don't discuss data ethics in this webinar. So let's end this webinar then with a discussion on data ethics. So data ethics encompasses the moral obligations of gathering, protecting, and using personally identifiable information and how it affects individuals. So it asks, is this the right thing to do? And can we do better? So there's actually a very good article from the Harvard Business School about the 5 principles of data ethics to apply at your organization. So the link to the article is found in the footer of this slide. So the 5 principles include ownership, transparency, and privacy, but I'd like to focus on 2 of these 5 principles. There's intention. So when discussing any branch of ethics, intentions matter. So before collecting data, ask yourself why you need it, what you will gain from it, and what changes you'll be able to make after analysis. If your intention is to hurt others, profit from your subject's weaknesses, or any other malicious goal, it is not ethical to collect their data. When your intentions are good, for instance, collecting data to gain an understanding of women's healthcare experiences so you can create an app to address a pressing need, you should still assess your intention behind the collection of each piece of data. Just strive to collect the minimum viable amount of data so you are taking as little as possible from your subjects while still making a difference. The second and last actually of the 5 principles is outcomes. So even when intentions are good, the outcome of data analysis can cause inadvertent harm to individuals or groups of people. So this is actually called a disparate impact, which is may be considered unlawful. It is actually considered unlawful in other countries like the United States. So it is not always clear whether a disparate impact was intentional or a result of unintentional bias in an algorithm. So either way, it has the potential to do real damage that disproportionately impacts a specific group of people. So unfortunately, you can't know for certain the impact of your data analysis will have until it's complete. But by considering this question beforehand, you can catch any potential occurrences of disparate impact. So, while the ethical use of data is an everyday effort, knowing that your data subjects' safety and rights are intact is worth the work. So, when handled ethically, data can enable you to make decisions and still drive meaningful change at your organization and in the world. So, now that is using data for social good. So, in a nutshell, one, we need to do not just analytics, but advanced analytics to keep our competitive edge in this era of quality. Two, regardless of the nature and size of an organization, the foundational requirements to implement data driven transformation programs are the same. And lastly, it will start with you with the right mindset, right questions, and right data to reap the benefits of data driven transformation programs. But if there's one major thing I'd like for everyone to really take away from this webinar, just please, please always use data for social good. Maraming salamat muli for your attention and for inviting me to kickstart your 2022. Isang magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Thank you very much. Back to you, Doc Ray.
Wow, that's an amazing presentation, Sherwin. There's a lot of takeaways on your session. So let's see. There are a couple of questions that I can see right here in our chat box. Um, Let me flash it right here on the screen. From Marley. Sir Pelayo, what is a good book to read on data analytics? Thank you.
You have the three. So I think once you've shared the material, Doc Ray, you'll have the three. Really, to be honest, those three, just I mean, they're easy to read. Um, and they really go through a step by step. It's a very logical way of doing analytics. One of the things that you really just need to remember is, especially when you read the green one, business analytics for managers, forget the notion first that analytics is an IT function. Okay, that's the first thing that you need to, really change your thinking, because it will really have to start with understanding the vision of your organization, the goals and the targets, because anything and everything will have to really be aligned to that, because if not, then you're really just wasting your time if it's not going to contribute to the organizational goals. But those three are, really very good books. I believe two of them are available at Fully Book, but just get the Kindle version on the online version. It's easier actually.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Sherwin. So we'll be sending you over all of the presentation material coming from Sherwin. You just have to answer the post evaluation survey so that you can get a copy of that. So there are three books that I could still remember that was presented earlier: Business Analytics for Managers, Analytics at Work, and Competing on Analytics.
Yes, exactly. Yes, sir.
All right, there's another question in here, Sherwin, from Joel. Which government agency or department is the office leading the data analytics initiative in government? How do you assess the use of data analytics in government in general?
Okay, so there's actually a lot of initiatives that are happening. To be very honest, if you're going to use the same maturity assessment, I would still say that we are at level 2, localized analytics, because there are really great efforts in the various agencies. DOST, DTI, DICT, TESDA, CHED, Department of Education. They really have all of these great ideas. They're really trying to push the agenda of analytics, but we really need and they're actually starting to coordinate all of their efforts. Okay, so and that's a good thing. So we are hoping to see more coordinated efforts across all of our government agencies this 2022. I think there were really already plans to do that, but then of course this pandemic happened, so the priorities change. But because also of what happened, of course, everyone realized that there's really need to fast track a lot, to fast track all of these initiatives. So we're seeing, at least within the AAP, we're seeing a lot of more of coordinated efforts across our government agencies.
That's very good. There's one more in here, Sherwin from Jamaica. What advice or pieces of advice can you give to people who just started learning data analytics?
Okay, that's great. That's a great question. Because in truth, regardless of what profession you're going to be in this fourth industrial revolution, this digital age, you'll be using data. You don't need to be a data engineer, or don't need to be a data scientist. A functional analyst will need data. If you work in HR, marketing, if you work in quality, I think you're going to drown in data. So it's good that you really want to learn analytics. So Project Sparta again is a very good starting point if you really want to learn. It's I would say it's very comparable to what you can learn from Coursera or Udemy. The good thing about Project Sparta is that the subject, and I'm not saying this because I'm one of the subject matter experts in Project Sparta, is because we really tailor fitted it to the needs of the country. And there are learning pathways depending on what role you want to perform. So it's not really just about being a data engineer or a data scientist again. If you want to be an analytics manager, a data steward, or a functional analyst, there's a pathway for you there. So start doing that. But beyond that, network. Do a lot of networking. There are a lot of Facebook groups that have analytics professionals. You need to grow your network. So AAP has a Facebook group. Data Science Philippines has a Facebook group. Of course, Project Sparta has a community of learners there. Next, you need to practice. Okay. You need to join as many hackathons as you can, because that's really going to let you practice what you learned. Kaggle, KAGGLE.com is a very good place to practice what you learned. There are competitions there. There are exercises there. Project Sparta is sponsoring several hackathons as well, and it's actually focused on a specific LGU. So you're learning analytics, you're practicing analytics, and you're helping the LGU as well. We're also announcing hackathons in AAP. So we have one currently ongoing with the Rotary Club of Makati, and it's about hack for food. So just join them. It will not cost you anything. You'll be exposed to data, and you'll be able to practice what you are learning.
That's amazing. Thank you, Sherwin. There's another one. Is there an online resource you can recommend that we can use as a reference, such as templates being used for data gathering and assessment and implementing data transformation?
Okay, that's a good question. Top of my head, I don't have an answer to that. I'm a data engineer myself, so as far as I know, the tools will really be specific. I'm sorry, the references, the templates, the assessments are specific to the software or the tools that you are using. So that's actually what I can say for now. Where I'm actually pretty sure about it.
Thank you, Sherwin. One last. There's another question in here. We started building an analytics program in the organization, and we ended up just creating fancy Power BI visualizations, which is on the descriptive level. How do we jump to the next level?
That's a very good question. So if you look at the data life cycle, the data value chain, you basically stop at the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but that's really a good start. You still need descriptive analytics because again, it will tell you where you are as an organization, whether you are succeeding or not. So then the next thing really is you need to identify those lead measures, the lead information, because that is going to really pull you or push you towards doing more advanced analytics. So start asking those insightful questions instead. You're saying, okay, so for example, if you are in human resources, you see that your attrition of your employees is very high. Now you're going to ask, okay, so how do I keep attrition low? You now start to think, okay, what are the factors affecting attrition? Is it the type of project? Is it the length of stay? Is it because the project is no more is not challenging? Is it because there's a lot of unpaid overtime, etc. So you take in all of those factors. Your lead measures, for example, will be the number of engagement activities. If I do more team building activities, will that actually help? You don't know, but you can then use advanced analytics to predict whether having more team building activities will help keep your people in the organization. Okay, it those so those really you need to start looking into those lead measures. The dashboard, descriptive analytics is a very good starting point. In fact, when you look at what how we do it in Eclaro, that's really the first thing. You know, once we do the strategies, we do business intelligence first. That's descriptive analytics. We start off with that, and then we do the advanced analytics stuff. So Doc Ray, I guess as I mentioned, we need another session about lead and lag.
Actually, Sherwin, some of the members were messaging me that they are interested to have like a follow-up session with you on lead and lag measures. Maybe we can invite you again
No,
on,
of
I mean, by
course.
February. That would
Of course,
be
we'll be happy to
great.
do that.
So there's continuity in terms of the session that you kick-started today. All right. So thank you so much. We've learned a lot, Sherwin. So at this juncture, we want to present with you, Sherwin, the certificate of appreciation. Let me read the citation. The certificate is given to Sherwin M. Pelayo for imparting valuable insights and inspiration to the participants during the webinar Driving Data-Driven Transformation Program on January 21, 2022. This is signed by yours truly. So thank you so much, Sherwin, and we look forward to seeing you again next month.
Of course, Doc Ray, anytime.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sherwin. See you around, Sherwin. And for our participants, I'll be flashing right now the QR code for the post evaluation survey. So please do scan it. It's also part of the email that we sent out over to you. So there's a post evaluation survey link so that you can get a copy of your certificate at the same time the copy of the presentation material from our speaker, Sherwin. So I'm gonna give you like a couple of seconds. So while you are answering, all of the items right there in the post evaluation survey, let me present with you very quickly who PSQ is. So PSQ is a national professional non-stock nonprofit organization. We started on May 17, 1969. In our vision, it's just taking a while for for this to load. PSQ will be the leading network that inspires and shapes quality and organizational excellence leaders. And you can also find like a lot of materials in our website and in our social media platforms or networks. And then we also were able to bring you some of the quality gurus, international quality gurus. And for the past years, we partnered with these organizations locally and internationally. We offer also different types of trainings from PSQ perspective. We also offer different types of national awards, and we are the arm of DTI, Bureau of Competitiveness, when it comes to the administration of the Philippine Quality Award, and it's now open. So for the organization who want to apply for the Philippine Quality Award, so please get in touch with us or get in touch with the DTI. And please also join us our journey, our quality movement. So that's PSQ. You can reach out to secretariat at psq.org.ph, or you can just message us in our social media accounts. And we are also calling for your contributions for our PSQ Nation. The next release will be on May 2022. So please share your contributions when it comes to the articles on your end. All right, so that's it for our January 2022 webinar. This is Dr. Ray from Mista, the host for our webinar for this month. So thank you so much for tuning in. Maraming salamat. Have a great day, everyone.